You think they didn't understand you. They did. They heard exactly what hurt you, and they kept doing it. In this video, you'll see why nothing you say changes them and what that actually means. You're sitting there, your voice lower than usual. You slow down at the end of your sentence, making sure they don't miss a single word. You explain the exact moment it hurt, what you felt, and why it mattered. They nod. They don't argue. And then, just a few hours later, they do the same thing again. That's when something shifts. Not outside, inside you. This isn't about miscommunication. It's about a mechanism you're not seeing yet. Stay with me for a minute. You'll recognize more than you expect. Because the moment you think they didn't understand is the moment everything actually starts. You explain exactly what hurts you. Your voice slows down at the end of the sentence, making sure they hear every single word. They look at you. They nod. It feels like a promise of understanding, but just a few hours later, they do the exact same thing as if that conversation never even happened. Our mistake is assuming that once someone understands our pain, they will stop causing it. But the bitter truth is, for them, understanding is just data. It is not a boundary for their behavior. Instead of facing this reality, you start to second-guess yourself. Maybe I didn't explain it clearly enough. You fall into the trap of self-doubt. You try to fix your delivery instead of looking at their pattern. They knew. You are not talking to an emotional responder. And the most dangerous mistake starts right here. So, you try a different approach. You speak softer. You stay patient. You give them one more chance. The problem is, you're projecting your own conscience onto them. You believe that if someone understands enough, they will naturally stop. But you're investing in a mechanism that offers no return. You are simply prolonging the very thing that is wearing you down. You keep telling yourself, if they really understood, they wouldn't do this. You constantly adjust how you say it because you believe understanding should change behavior. It doesn't. For them, understanding is not a boundary. If you want to see what is actually happening, you have to let go of your old lens. At the beginning, they didn't feel fake. They felt precise. They were charming, quick, and they read the room perfectly. Everything moved faster than usual. It felt like a soul connection. But that wasn't an accident. You didn't just meet a difficult person. You met a system. A personality structure built entirely around control, not connection. There are 4 pillars to this system. Narcissism, the need for reflection. Machiavellianism, the long-term strategic play. Psychopathy, the lack of fear or remorse. And sadism, the thrill of causing pain. You mistook their ability to navigate people for a genuine bond. You keep thinking, they felt so real at the beginning. But no, you didn't meet a hard person. You met a system that was never designed for empathy. And the most dangerous part isn't even these traits. They don't miss a thing. They just don't feel any of it. They can repeat the exact words you said in your weakest moment. They know exactly where your breaking point is. The truth is, empathy has 2 parts. Cognitive empathy, the ability to read emotions. And affective empathy, the ability to feel them. They have the first. They lack the second. That is the difference. You feel seen, but you don't feel held. You mistook being read for being understood. They don't lack information about your pain. They lack the constraint of it. And once you realize this, everything they do starts to make perfect sense. They didn't lock you in. They taught you how to stay. It started with a small boundary crossing. You felt off, but you let it slide. Then, they suddenly became kind again exactly when you needed them to be. The truth is, you passed their test. They test boundaries to select their targets. Then they use intermittent reinforcement. By mixing pain with unpredictable rewards, they wire your brain to keep trying. You become hypervigilant. You spend your energy waiting for the good version of them to return instead of walking away. You tell yourself, If I just do this right, they'll be like they were before. But here is the reality. You are not addicted to them. You are addicted to the moments they stop hurting you. And as this loop closes, the most dangerous phase begins. At some point, you stop trusting your own memory, and you start asking them what is real. You begin to forget exactly what you said. You find yourself constantly checking your memory, needing them to validate your own reality. This isn't just confusion. This is gaslighting, the deliberate breaking of your perspective. It's chronic stress, rewiring your nervous system until you are lost. You lose the ability to ground yourself. You stop trusting your gut, and because of that, you aren't clear enough to leave. You keep thinking, maybe I am the problem. But listen closely. That is not love. You are just calling control by a more comfortable name. And when you look back at the whole picture, one thing becomes very clear. You didn't stay because you loved too much. You stayed because you kept trying to apply meaning to behavior that was never meant to hold meaning. If you are the one who replays conversations in your head, who adjusts your tone before you even speak, who tries to be fair even when you're hurt, this is the pattern you were pulled into. Clarity begins the moment you stop negotiating with what already happened. Think back to the first time something felt off. Not the worst moment, the first small one, the one you explained away. That's where it started. If you want to understand how to handle this without getting pulled back in, stay with this series. Some people don't break your heart. They slowly replace your sense of what's real.